Rejection without rage. Emotionally intelligent ways to respond to criticism. Let's talk about something that gets under everybody's skin: criticism. You're working hard. You're doing your best. You think you're finally getting it right. And then someone comes in with that one sentence, that one opinion, that one look, and suddenly your whole chest tightens. They say, "This isn't really your best work." They say, "I think you could have done that differently." Or worse, they say nothing at all. Just a sigh, a raised eyebrow, a pause before they speak, and boom, you're spiraling. You feel attacked. You feel rejected. You want to defend yourself. You want to explain. You want to scream, "Do you know how hard I tried?" But here's where it gets interesting. Criticism doesn't always have to crush you. In fact, if you know how to respond with emotional intelligence, criticism can become one of your most powerful tools for growth. But if you don't, if you respond with anger, with defensiveness, with shutdowns, you lose twice. You lose the chance to grow. And you lose your peace. So let's break it down. Most people aren't taught how to handle criticism. What we're taught, especially as kids, is this: if someone tells you you're wrong, you're bad. If someone says you failed, you should feel ashamed. If someone doesn't approve of you, you're not good enough. So now, as adults, even constructive feedback feels like rejection. It feels personal, even when it's not. But here's the truth that can set you free. Criticism is not rejection. It's information. Now, some criticism is mean. Some is unfair. Some is just plain nasty. But not all of it. Some feedback is honest. Some is useful. Some is given with love, even if it doesn't feel good at first. Emotionally intelligent people know how to separate the two. They know how to ask, is this feedback meant to help me or hurt me? Because when you learn to pause, when you learn to ask that question instead of reacting, you take back your power. Let me ask you something. Have you ever snapped back at someone just because they gave you feedback you didn't want to hear? Of course. We all have. It's a human reaction. You feel exposed. You feel judged. Your ego jumps up and says, defend yourself. Don't let them make you feel small. So you argue. You justify. You point fingers. Or you go cold and silent, pretending it doesn't bother you. But inside you're burning. That's not emotional intelligence. That's emotional defense mode. And it's not helping you grow. It's only protecting your ego, not your progress. So how do you respond without rage? Without shutting down? Without taking it personally every time someone doesn't clap for you? It starts with this: not every critique is an attack. Sometimes feedback is just a mirror. It shows you what you didn't see. It points out the blind spots. It makes you uncomfortable, not to shame you but to shape you. But you'll miss the gift if all you focus on is the sting. Let's say someone tells you, your presentation was too long. You can react with, well, at least I showed up. Where were you? Or you can pause and think, okay, maybe I need to work on clarity. Same sentence, different response. One is emotional maturity. The other is emotional armor. When someone gives you feedback, you don't have to agree with everything they say. But you should listen. And here's why. Emotionally intelligent people listen for insight, not insult. They don't assume every correction is an attack. They don't let their pride speak first. They let curiosity speak first. They ask, what can I learn here? What's the part of this that I can actually use? And even if this person is being rude, is there any truth I can take away? Because sometimes the truth comes wrapped in a nasty tone. But it's still truth. And you? You're strong enough to filter the delivery and still get the message. Let's talk about tone for a second. Sometimes criticism hurts not because of what was said, but how it was said. A boss says it in front of other people. A friend says it with sarcasm. A partner says it while they're already mad. And boom, you're done. You don't even hear the words. You just feel disrespected. That's real. That's valid. But here's what an emotionally intelligent person does. They address the tone without ignoring the truth. They might say, I hear what you're saying and I'll think about that. But I'd appreciate it if we could talk about things like this more respectfully. See the difference? You're still being strong. But you're not being reactive. You're not letting your emotions take over. You're not ignoring everything just because the delivery sucked. Because if you need feedback to be wrapped perfectly before you'll accept it, you'll stay stuck. You'll miss out on opportunities to grow just because your feelings got bruised. That's not power. That's emotional fragility. And you're better than that. Let's flip the script for a second. What if the criticism really was unfair? What if someone just wanted to tear you down? Guess what? You can still be calm. You can still be clear. You can say, thanks for your opinion, and walk away. Because the most powerful response to unfair criticism is no reaction at all. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to argue with people who aren't even trying to understand you. You don't have to turn every opinion into a debate. Sometimes, the most emotionally intelligent thing you can do is say nothing, and just keep doing the work. Because your results will speak louder than any critique. Let's take it even deeper. When someone criticizes you, it's a chance to learn not just about them, but about yourself. Ask yourself, why did that comment trigger me so much? Why did I feel rejected? Why did I feel like I had to prove something? That's where the growth happens. Sometimes, the pain of criticism is pointing to an old wound. Maybe you weren't validated as a kid. Maybe you always had to be perfect to feel loved. Maybe mistakes felt like failure instead of learning. And now, every little critique feels like an attack on your worth. But it's not. You're not your mistakes. You're not your flaws. You're not your bad day, your rough moment, or someone else's low opinion of you. You are a work in progress. And real progress requires feedback. Even the uncomfortable kind. Emotionally intelligent people know this. You grow faster when you stop defending your ego and start developing your character. You get better when you say, okay, maybe I didn't handle that well. Let me try again. You get stronger when you can say, that stung, but I needed to hear it. You become wiser when you stop taking everything personally and start using it purposefully. It's not easy, but it's powerful. Because most people stay stuck not because they aren't talented, but because they can't take feedback. They get defensive. They shut down. They quit. They blame everyone else. And so they stay the same. But you're different. You're choosing to respond, not react. You're choosing reflection over rage. You're choosing progress over pride. Let's talk about relationships for a minute. One of the biggest killers of healthy relationships is the inability to give or receive criticism without turning it into war. Someone says, hey, I feel like you've been distant lately, and it turns into, well, maybe if you weren't so clingy, I wouldn't have to be distant. That's not communication. That's combat. Emotionally intelligent relationships sound like this. Thank you for telling me. I didn't realize I was making you feel that way. Let's talk about it. No yelling. No blame. Just curiosity, ownership, and love. And yes, it takes practice. Yes, you'll mess it up sometimes. But the goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Every time you pause before reacting, you win. Every time you listen without interrupting, you win. Every time you accept feedback with grace, you grow. You want to be powerful? Learn to stay calm when you're criticized. Learn to stay soft when you're misunderstood. Learn to stay grounded when the world throws opinions at you like darts. That's how you rise. That's how you lead. That's how you stand out. Because anyone can be loud. Anyone can clap back. Anyone can get angry. But real strength? Real maturity? Real emotional intelligence? That's in the silence. In the stillness. In the self-control. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to be hurt. But you are not allowed to let rejection steal your worth. You are not your mistakes. You are not your critics. You are not their opinion. You are a student of growth. A warrior of emotional wisdom. A person learning how to build peace inside no matter what comes from outside. So the next time criticism comes your way, don't rage. Don't retreat. Take a breath. Take a beat. Listen with strength. Respond with grace. And remember this. Criticism doesn't define you. How you respond to it does.